Good morning, good morning. I'm Annie Harris, and I'm really delighted to welcome you here this morning to this absolutely beautiful barn and beautiful seaside park. It's really a great credit to the city of Beverly that they preserve this barn and they use it for special events, and the park is really a beautiful park, and there's a beautiful rose garden here. And I'm going to call the meeting to order, and I'm obviously not Angela, so our president, Angela, our president, unfortunately came down with COVID. I know, she's feeling pretty well, but she didn't want to spread it around to everybody else. So thank you all again for coming. Now, I would like to start the meeting with a welcome to Beverly from Mayor Michael Cahill. Good morning, Mayor.
Thank you, Annie. I'm going to run out in a minute because I have a 9 o'clock meeting, so my apologies. But I do want to welcome you all to Beverly. I want to say special hi to Mike Harrington, my friend and neighbor and our former congressman. Great to see you, Mike. And I want to say a big thank you to Suzanne Lanzikos, who's right there. Suzanne works here and programs the building and a lot that goes on in the park. And Bruce Doig, who's our director of Parks and Recreation, who they live here by day. By day they live here. So you're in an amazing building, and I guess the one thing I'll say besides welcome, I'll give you just a quick snapshot of what we're doing right here at Lynch Park. We've been working now for the last few years on evaluating the vulnerabilities in this park to sea level rise and storm impacts. We've had a few events that have turned the park into an island in the last couple of years, because we have the beach right there, which is very low, and then the other side of the rose garden, there's a low-lying area between our property and the neighbors. What we learned in evaluating this is that 120, 130 years ago, when this was an estate, the owners of the estate actually filled what was salt marsh. So part of the parking lot and where you see the sand and the volleyball area and part of the lawn is actually former salt marsh. So the ocean kind of wants to take back what is hers, right? So we have to figure out we have a seawall here that's really served us for a long time. We have to figure out how to harden and how to welcome in the water and manage it and store it so that the park can be resilient and survive and be the resource that we all love in our community for a long time to come. So that's a part of what we've been working on. We're now in the permitting process of trying to get some repairs made to the wall, but both up front and right here by the house, and also trying to figure out how to take this building and make it resilient and restore it. It's beautiful in here. It needs a lot of work structurally. And so among the things that we're looking at is how to deal with the fact that the water will come in during storms, and so the basement the basement can't be what it is today. It's used for storage and a lot of activity. So we got to figure all that out for the years to come. So just so you know, we're working on things like that every day, and I know that you folks understand that because of the work you all do. Essex Heritage does amazing work. I'm grateful for Annie and her leadership, and I'm grateful for all of you. I'm not sure what each of you does by day, but I'm sure it's great. And the fact that you're here means you're involved in all the right kind of preserving, celebrating, promoting the vast history we all have. I know we're all excited about 250 years of America. In Beverly, we're excited about 400 years of the grant that was awarded by whoever the king was at the time for the Salem Bay Charter in 1626, and we're doing a lot in Beverly. I say we got an amazing volunteer group in Beverly 400 doing a lot of things to try to make sure that we appropriately honor the history and honor the people who were here when Europeans arrived, and take a good look at all that's gone on since 1626 up to now in Beverly. So we're excited about all of this, and I want to again welcome you to our amazing city and turn it back to Annie. Thanks.
Thank you so much. And wonderful to hear about the efforts going on this park, which of course concern all of us, sea level rise and its impact on historic preservation and on our shoreline. So thank you so much, Mayor. And now I would like to welcome State Senator Joan Lovely to say a few words. And Joan has been a great friend.
Thank you, Annie, and good morning, everyone. I will be brief. I, too, have to slip out. The Senate is in formal session this morning, so I do have to head into Boston. But thank you for everything that Essex Heritage does. Great Trails and Sails event again this year, opening up all of our treasures, our natural resources, our historic treasures all over the county. So thank you for doing that. Also, myself, Representative Cruz, I know Rep. Bowen is here. We're also proud to be able to support Essex Heritage, the Hidden Histories program, the Future Leaders program. Still waiting for those earmarks to come. Those have been kind of frozen by the administration because of large cuts coming out of Washington, really. But we're hopeful, and we're still working towards it. But thanks for everything that you all do. Great crowd this morning. Thanks for coming out. So beautiful to be here in Lynch Park. Beverly's my hometown, so I love being back here over the bridge. And thanks again. Have a great day.
Thank you, Joan. Thank you, Joan, and for your leadership and all the help that you provided to Essex Heritage. We're really appreciative of that, and we hope the earmarks come through. But we really appreciate that you've been pushing on that. And now I would like to ask State Representative Hannah Bowen to say a few words too. Hi.
Thank you, Annie, and thank you all for being here. I'm adding to the thanks and the welcomes. So I also think this is a room where I can safely say happy Hanniversary, and people will know what that means. So my family did know the story of the schooner Hannah before naming me. I can't claim to be exactly named for the ship, but my dad grew up in Marblehead, and I now represent Beverly, so it's a little tricky in the family. I am not the Hannah Glover, but I do think a lot about the heritage and the history that we have locally, the significance it has for our whole region, our whole Commonwealth, and our whole country. And so I think this is just a really interesting time to be gathering and reflecting on history and the role that ordinary people and merchants and sailors and others played during the Revolution and the role that we're all playing now. So those are the sorts of things I'm thinking about every day, in part because I'm walking around with a historical name. And if you look out, sort of this was the Hannah's territory. So we are in a beautiful place. We are in a place with a lot of history. I want to welcome you into that and think about, as you all are making plans for how we continue to preserve the lessons and the legacy of the past, and think about the marks that we're making today. I'm just really grateful to be in partnership with you all, and as Senator Lovely said, we're all looking at what needs to happen at the state level to fill in gaps, to address what's happening in terms of federal funding, to still protect the resources that we have here. So look forward to working with you all on that, and welcome again to Beverly and to Lynch Park.
Thank you. So nice to meet you. And now I would like to ask Katie Morfill, Regional Director for Senator Ed Markey, to come forward. Hi, Katie.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Like Annie said, my name is Katie Morfill. I'm a Regional Director in Senator Markey's Boston office, covering Essex County and the North Shore. Thank you for having me today. I'm pleased to deliver a statement from Senator Markey. The statement reads as follows. Hello, Essex Heritage. I'm sorry I could not be with you in person at today's annual fall meeting. Thank you to Annie Harris and her incredible leadership and vision that has utterly transformed the way the public can access the Essex National Heritage Area. And thank you to all of you in the room, from staff at Essex Heritage to community partners and to our state delegation leaders. And of course, congratulations to the folks receiving the Pioneer and Partnership Awards and the Special Recognition Award later in today's program. 2025 is a year that has presented many challenges, but Essex Heritage is keeping their foot on the gas and delivering for the North Shore. Earlier this year, Essex Heritage partnered with me and Congressman Moulton to pass the Salem Maritime National Historic Park Redesignation and Boundary Study Act. The bill updated Salem Maritime from a National Historic Site to a National Historic Park. This new designation will drive more visitors to Salem and increase the preservation of the park. I'm so proud to have had Annie by my side when we celebrated in Salem this summer, and I can't wait to see what it means as Salem approaches celebrating its 400th anniversary next year. Although we are in uncertain times with the government shutdown, I will continue fighting to reopen the government, lower costs, and protect constituents in the Bay State and across our nation from cuts to health care, Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security. Massachusetts families and communities deserve better than these cuts, and when the government reopens, I will continue to work hard in Washington, D.C. to ensure that Essex National Heritage Area has what it needs to thrive in the years ahead. Thank you all for your hard work and service to your communities. I look forward to being with you all sometime soon. Thank you.
Please thank the senator. Those are very nice words. Okay, thank you so much, Katie. And now I would like to ask Bruce Dong, I'm probably not saying that right, to welcome us to beautiful Lynch Park. And you really are a credit to what you've been able to do here. It is a beautiful, beautiful park and beautifully maintained.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I get all the credit, all the compliments, and I have to give credit to our Department of Public Services. They were out here this morning cutting the grass. They do an amazing job. They have a tremendous pride in what they do. And all of our parks, look the same, and they just do an amazing job. But I would like to welcome you all to Lynch Park, where all your dreams come true. I invite you all to take a run through the splash pad before you leave. And again, I have to say this, as the mayor said, this has been my home away from home for 23 years. And before that, I was on the Recreation Commission for 8 years. So, recreation is my passion. I was a software engineer, and now I'm doing this, and I love it. But again, welcome to you all. Thank you very much for the support of Essex Heritage in the past. I know we've partnered on some events, and again, it's been my pleasure to serve the city and take care of these great places. So thank you very much. The jewel of the North Shore, as we like to say. So thank you.
Thank you very much. And now I would like to ask Sherry Grisham to come up and do the president's report and some of the business part of the meeting. Sherry.
Thank you, Annie. First, I'd like to thank the rest of the Essex Heritage team that helps me, organize these meetings, because it takes a team effort. So Charles and Heather and Beth and Victoria and Susie, Alyssa, Catherine is in the visitor center helping us keep it open during the shutdown in Salem. But she brought the coffee this morning, so thank you, Catherine. We're very appreciative. So our first order of business, in lieu of Angela not being here, is to approve the minutes from our spring meeting. This was in Swampscott, and you should have received the minutes in an email, and also we had some as you came in. So do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the spring meeting? Okay, John, do I have a second? Second. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, the minutes are approved. Next, we are going to be voting in our new Essex Heritage Commissioners. This slate of individuals has been nominated to serve for a 3-year term. And our first new commissioner is Bethany Groff-Durow. She is the executive director of the Museum of Old Newbury. And Sandra Schwarzkopf is the founder of Game Possible Learning, and she is also a former Park for Every Classroom educator. Sheila Spalding is a site manager for Historic New England. Matthew Swindell is the director of the Manchester by the Sea Museum. And Ella Weber is visitor services manager at Parker River Wildlife Refuge. Do I have a motion to approve the new commissioners?
I'll make a motion.
Great, Ken. Second? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, welcome to our new commissioners. We look forward to having you on board. Next, we need to approve our renewing commissioners. Many of our commissioners serve more than one term, and these are the commissioners who are renewing their terms for another 3 years. You can see their names here. Do I have a motion to approve the renewing commissioners? Okay, second? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? All right, thank you to all our new commissioners. If you're a new commissioner or renewing commissioner, do you mind just raising your hand so we can recognize you? Thank you so much. We also wanted to let you know that we have 2 new trustees on board. These were trustees elected in September. Our first one is Susan Littman. She served for many years as the Chief Financial Officer at Essex Heritage and provided invaluable service over the years in helping us navigate the complexities of federal funding, nonprofit accounting, and our annual audits. And our second new trustee is Kenneth Torino. Ken is the Senior Search Consultant with Museum Search and Reference after serving at Historic New England for 20 years. So we are so excited to have these 2 new trustees with us and look forward to working with them in the coming years. And next up, we want to thank our generous corporate sponsors who make all of our programs in the Essex National Heritage area possible. In particular, we'd like to recognize Eastern Bank Charitable Foundation, Salem 5 Charitable Foundation, and Institution for Savings for supporting our Trails and Sales program. The sponsorships of these institutions, along with the hard work of our more than 150 site hosts and event leaders, make it possible to keep this event free to the public. We also want to give a big thank you to New England Biolabs and the National Park Foundation for their Open Outdoors for Kids grant that helps to fund our Park for Every Classroom program. We greatly, greatly appreciate this support. And we also would like to thank our corporate members. Many of these members are not only members, but also generous supporters as well in other ways. And we really couldn't do the work that we do without them, so we want to recognize them as well. So thank you, everyone. And now I will hand it back over to Annie.
Well, thank you, Sherry. Let's see if we have 2 sets of notes up here. So let me see if I can get back to, but thank you all to all our commissioners and our new trustees. We really obviously couldn't do this work without all the support of all of you and your volunteer time, and thank you again also to our corporate sponsors. We do get some public money, but the private money is extremely important, and thank you to those institutions such as the Hawthorne Hotel who have really supported us over many, many, many years, so really, really thank you. So I'm going to give you, as I usually do, a little brief update on some of our activities since the last time we met, and particularly want to talk to you a little bit about the engagement and education work that we do. I know you're familiar with a lot of it, but we also do a lot of different things around this 500 square mile region. But at the core of what we are all about, what Essex Heritage is all about, is really connecting all of you who live here and our visitors, but particularly the residents, to the very special places, history, and resources that are so prevalent in this region. It really defines the quality of life here, that we have so much history, that we have so many beautiful historic sites such as this. We have so much open space and so much protected land and trails. But it's a work that's done, and these supports that for all these resources are done by so many volunteers and nonprofits and municipalities that work so hard to keep these places going. But if they aren't relevant to the people who live here, if you don't go out and use them and enjoy them and engage with them, they won't necessarily be here in the future. So that's really what we're about, is helping you both enjoy and learn about these places. And so obviously, one of our premier engagement programs is Trails and Sales. We just finished up the 24th year. It was really a record year. We had over 200 unique events, and we had some old favorites. We also had some great new ones, such as kayaking and even sheep herding. That was really fascinating. So I hope all of you have done at least one Trails and Sales event this year. If not, I really, shame on you, you should. They're all for free. And I always learn something new, and I just find it very invigorating to go and discover really what's right here in our backyard, very accessible, lots of fun. We also do public programs and events throughout the year, again, all about engagement and education. We have lectures and exhibits. We do the annual photo contest. More recently, we've been having Heritage Friend events, which is sort of like mini trails and sales events, a little more in depth. You get to go to special places. Such as, the Customs House Maritime Museum, the Pickering House in Salem, which is reputed to be the oldest house in America, occupied by the same family. Fascinating Museum of Printing in Haverhill, really, really interesting. And we'll be doing several more of these kinds of events in the future. We offer to members, but if you don't have to be a member, you can pay a small little fee and participate. So again, just trying to tell you and show you and get you excited about the fantastic places that we have here. We also doing, we've done we do regular lecture series. We've been focusing a lot on the 250th anniversary of the American Revolution. We had some great talks and reenactments in this past year. We had a wonderful, great debate between the Patriot View and the Loyalist Review. We're going to be doing more around the maritime history of this region and privateering coming up in the new year. We're working pretty closely with the National Park Service on this. Unfortunately, as you know, they're closed, so we hope that they will be open again soon, and we really feel for them at this time of being furloughed and being unable to go back to their jobs, but we're looking forward to working with them on a new exhibit and new lectures. We also continue to broaden our audience and work on family programs. These are mostly at this point during school vacations in the summertime, but it's a great opportunity to engage with our younger audience and with their caretakers. We've done a Black History program in Beverly, a marine biology program, Revolutionary War. We also look for opportunities to bring kids' activities to some existing programs, such as the Battle of Bunker Hill. We did a wonderful little flag-making program this year up there as part of the reenactment. We found it was not only just very popular with kids, also had a lot of adults make these Patriot flags too. It was kind of fun to see everybody carrying them around. We have, of course, a very specific youth engagement program in our Future Leaders program, which is a job internship program. Despite the threats of funding in the Future Leader program relies a lot on public funding. We still were able to continue this year. We had 10 paid internships for youth, and it's a combination of job training and also work skills. We have many youths do return over the years, and they learn leadership skills. And it also really helps them form a deep connection to the sites and historic resources. In the summertime, the youth work mainly in the two national parks, Saugus Ironworks and Salem Maritime. And in the wintertime, recently, we've been able to, with some state funding from Senator Lovely, and we have been able to do some internships in other historic resources with youth. And these young kids really form a very strong connection with these historic resources that otherwise they would never have that opportunity. Working at McDonald's, working at somewhere else, they just don't have the opportunities, and when you see them relate to these sites, it's very exciting. Speaking of historic places, of course, we also, our one property that we take care of is Baker's Island. It's always a good learning lesson for us about what people that have these historic sites have to deal with. And we've always really wanted to have, we felt it very important to try to do education programs on Baker's, despite the limited access. But we were really, the school programs, really, the pandemic really put a crimp on those, but I'm pleased to say that we've been able to get those programs restarted. We were able to take the entire fourth grade from Glen Urquhart out this fall, had a wonderful day out there on the island, talking about maritime history, talking about navigation, also talking about living off the grid and some of the science behind solar power. And just a fantastic day out there. I want to say just a few more words about our probably better-known education programs. We continue to do our annual education forum, which is really focused on museum educators. The purpose of the forum is to gather them together at an historic site to talk about what's happening in museum education, to expose them and to some of the current trends, but also to have them be able to network and meet each other. This last forum was held at Historic Beverly, and we heard from Dr. Andrew Morgan from the Beverly Schools and Historic Beverly's museum educator, Christina Yeager. We had really a wonderful time with them and exploring the local connections the school groups can make in Beverly, including their very interesting and timely new exhibit called Set at Liberty. As Joan Lovely referred to, we also continue to do our Hidden Histories, which is uncovering the untold stories of this region. And thanks to a grant this past year, a state grant, we were able to do a lot with working with local institutions and museum groups to help them really enhance some of their existing programs for elementary school and middle school kids, as well as launching some new programs. We worked with Historic Beverly, Marblehead Museum, Topsfield Historical, Lynn Museum and Arts Center, House of Seven Gables, Cape Ann, and Danvers Historic. And we really worked with them on, their programs, what they were doing, with being able to tell local history, and how to really expand and talk about some of the difficult parts of our history here and make it age appropriate for these young people. Really neat program. Now, the grandmother of all our education programs, of course, is the Park for Every Classroom program, which is offered by Essex Heritage in partnership with the National Park Service. We've been doing this for the past 14 years. It's a program when teachers and students implement unique programs and projects that align with the school curriculum, but they also engage in real-world problems and issues in their communities. So they may do a math problem, but do it outside on a trail next to the school, or they may do an art program, but go to an historic house and do it there. So it's to really make this connection with the communities. I love this program when you see and hear the kids, how excited they get, how invigorated the teachers get with this. And Beth Berenger, our Director of Education, will tell you a little more about some specific programs, very exciting ones in Beverly in just a minute. So we're very happy and grateful to be able to continue to do this. But before I turn the podium over to Beth, I want to do one more sort of celebration, and this is for a person. It's a special recognition award that I'm really pleased to be able to announce, and this is for Sue Goganian, who is recently retired as the director of Historic Beverly, formerly called Beverly Historical Society. She worked here for 17 years. She also served as an Essex Heritage trustee for many years. Under her leadership, Historic Beverly, the organization really grew in its membership, but also in its community impact and its programming. She really was able to deepen the Beverly stories, really connect with the community. Again, their current exhibit called Set at Liberty is a really interesting exhibit. If you haven't seen it, I would encourage you to do it. She also dealt with making improvements on their historic properties and making them more accessible. I think that Sue is really responsible for making Historic Beverly be very much integrated into the community. It's a very important part of the community and its history. Prior to her time in Beverly, she spent 15 years focusing on Boston history as president of the Boston Women's Heritage Trail. She's also served as a site director for the Old State House, a member of the Boston Landmarks Commission, and again served on multiple regional boards, including Essex Heritage. She was very quick, when she moved up to Historic Beverly, she was very quick to become involved in the work of Essex Heritage in Essex County, served as commissioner, as I said, as a trustee. It's been a great pleasure to work with Sue. We miss her, but I really thank her for all her contribution to this region. And Sue, would you please come up?
Hi, everybody. Thank you. I did just write down something. So first of all, thank you to Essex Heritage, to Annie, to the board, to the staff, most of whom I've known for a really long time. They do incredible work. Trails and Sales is one of the most important programs anywhere in this area because even small admission fees can be a deterrent to people. So to be able to offer free programming is critically important. So thank you for fighting for that every year because it really makes a difference. I was at Historic Beverly for 17 years. It was a joy and an honor. I loved every minute of it, even when I was frustrated and crazy and broke and everything else. But it was wonderful. We made a lot of progress. I'm delighted with what's happening now under Abby's leadership. I hope you all support her. This is a really important institution. I also want to just mention that we don't think about the National Park Service that much, but it's one of the most important governmental organizations we have because it intersects with everybody. So I hope that people are back to work soon and the funding is restored and our parks can be taken care of. Finally, every time I'm in this room and in this building, I think about the people that worked really hard to save the Carriage House. And that includes everybody from the city, particularly when Denise Deschamps was here, she worked really hard. But I also think a lot about the people that we work with, primarily Joan Johnson, Nancy Clark, and especially Ginny Currier, who just labored for years and years and years to save this precious place. And I hope that we can continue to care for it and support what the city needs to make these improvements. Thank you very much for this honor. I'm really delighted.
Thank you. And now, thank you, Sue, and stay afterwards. We'll take a few photographs. And now I'd like to ask Beth Berenger, who's our Director of Education, to come to the podium and talk about some of the special programs here in Beverly.
Good morning, everyone. So as Annie mentioned, we really had some outstanding projects from our Park for Every Classroom program with Beverly teachers in our last teacher cohort, and I'd like to share with you a little bit about some of these projects. With teacher Michelle March, fourth grade students in Beverly's Centerville School focused on the ecology of their local coastal community. Students engaged with marine scientists from Maritime Gloucester and members of local government here in Beverly to explore how even small changes can impact a coastal ecosystem. In the process, they became aware that their school was actually one of the first green public buildings in Beverly, and they practiced thinking critically about the pros and cons of different energy sources. Students prepared and presented information to encourage others to be more conscious of how our daily decisions affect the local ecosystem. So that was Michelle March's project. We also had teacher Mary Biggis's Beverly High School ninth graders analyzed and compared the themes in a contemporary novel to historic Beverly's Set at Liberty exhibit, finding connections between the history of enslaved and free citizens of Beverly to current issues. Through their analysis, research, and collaboration with their peers and staff at Historic Beverly, students experienced how to take action for racial justice. They created informative and engaging texts for plaques and displays for a historical walking tour, helping bring awareness to the history of enslavement and freedom in the city. So that was Mary. And then during a guided walk along the Cummings Center Trail, once the site of United Shoe Machinery Corporation, Beverly 6th grade students were surprised to learn that the buildings and landmarks they passed every day held rich historical significance. With guidance from teachers Jeff Kruniak and Stacy Hall, the students identified a disconnect between their own knowledge and Beverly's historical roots. To address this need, students from one team selected historical locations to research using primary sources provided by Historic Beverly, and groups from another team then designed an exercise routine inspired by the site's history, linking movement to the human body system studied in their science class. Finally, students created videos for the community to reintroduce Beverly's history in an active, accessible way. And then 8th grade students in Beverly explored local science topics through a series of seminars with local organizations and experts. For example, a member of the Parks and Recreation Department here in the city of Beverly discussed the future design considerations for Lynch Park. As the mayor was saying, there is a concern about global warming effects and sea level rise. And each of these local explorations helps students apply scientific knowledge in a real world context. And this is really the secret, making something real world. All of these projects did this for the students. They started to think about ways to address these local issues. And then lastly, teacher Rachel Emmons' grade 2 students centered their exploration around the Greens Hill area of the city, a community resource that abuts Ayers Ryleside School. Students learned about traditional indigenous knowledge associated with native plants in the area, aligning with their social studies and science curriculum. And with guidance from North Shore Nature Programs, students explored the open space and created brochures about native plants to have available at the trailhead. So you can see these projects really do connect students with their communities and help them feel like they're really active participants, which is really a gift. So today we'd love to recognize Beverly Public Schools and their Park for Every Classroom teachers who showed exceptional partnership with their community to create meaningful civic engagement projects that have had a significant and positive impact on their students and on the environment. And with us today are 4 of the teachers whose students' projects exemplify partnership and local civic action: Michelle March, Mary Biggis, Jeff Kruniak, and Stacy Hall. Would these teachers please come up and join me to accept their awards? Okay, Michelle, congratulations. Thank you. Mary, thank you. Thank you so much. Jeff, thank you, and Stacy. Thank you so much, Stacy. All right, moving on, we would also like to recognize Historic Beverly. You heard their name quite a bit this morning, not only for their strong partnership in our Park for Every Classroom with our Park for Every Classroom teachers, but for their commitment to partnering with Essex Heritage on multiple educational initiatives over the past year. These include our education forum, which they hosted, the Heritage Friend event, family programs, and Teaching Hidden Histories. Would Director Abby Battis and Education Manager Christina Yeager please step up to receive the Pioneer and Partnership Award for Historic Beverly? Annie, back to you.
Well, congratulations, and please stay around for a few minutes afterwards, and we'll get some pictures, and we'd love to do some publicity on this, but we are really thrilled. Wonderful, wonderful projects, wonderful collaboration. I wish I could I wish we could have all the students come and talk to you about how excited they get through this program. It's pretty amazing, so you just got a small flavor for it this morning. Now, for our very sort of last thing today, I would like to briefly talk about the Battle of Bunker Hill, one of the 250th anniversary events that took place in Essex County this summer. It was reenacted at Stage Fort Park in Gloucester because there's not room down in Charlestown. Plus, the National Park Service doesn't allow you to use black powder, and this was featured prominently in this. There were over 1,000 British and Patriot troops and 20,000 spectators. It was a really amazing weekend. Essex Heritage is involved, but with helping the event with many, many, many partners, who I will mention this morning. But first, we have a brief video clip, which I hope will run, just to show you, give you a flavor for what happened that weekend. It was pretty incredible. It was really like going back in time. It was amazing, and I want to thank so many people that made it happen. It is my pleasure to announce the Pioneer and Partnership Award for the volunteer team, or really should I say army, that put together this reenactment weekend. And then we'll call out some of the organizations, and we have several people representing these organizations. So in a minute, I'll ask you to come up. But we had Revolution 250, a nonprofit that promotes events around Massachusetts. We had the city of Gloucester. We had Discover Gloucester, their marketing group. We had Maritime Gloucester. We had Gloucester Volunteers. We had the Cape Ann Chamber of Commerce. We had the Bunker Hill Reenactment Committee. We had the Massachusetts Office of Travel and Tourism. And we had John Guilfoyle, Public Relations. So many of the team are here today. I really thank you for coming. It was wonderful to have sort of old home week to see everybody. And when your name is called, would you come up to the podium? We will, and then I will call all the names. And then if you want to say a few words at the end, I'd be happy to have it. So with us today, I know we have John Lane, who's the executive director of Revolution 250. He's just a tireless proponent of the Revolutionary War and celebrating it in Massachusetts. He's been doing it for the last several years. He's going to be doing it for the next several years. And Jonathan, it was really a pleasure to work with you on this particular project. And I hear we may be getting involved in another one, maybe the Battle of Gloucester coming up next summer. So we'll see. It's supposed to be smaller, but we'll see. We have Amanda Pollock from Discover Gloucester. They were actually a key partner in promoting and getting the word out, both around the state and around New England, but also locally, really helping us connect with the schools and with the different organizations in Gloucester. So Amanda is here. Michael DaCosta, who coordinated all the ships, and there were a lot of ships and small boats and all the marine activities. It was pretty amazing to see those boats out in the harbor and cannons firing and then the British rowing ashore. So he did all that maritime coordination. Brent, or Ringo, as we know, Ringo Tarr, who organized hundreds of Gloucester volunteers. He was just an incredible, effective man on the ground. He knew everybody, he knows everybody, he knows everything, he knows how to get things. We never could have done it without him. He really was quite extraordinary and just always responded. If he'd come up, he would be there. Kate Fox from the Massachusetts Office of Travel and Tourism. They were a key helper and sponsor in this, both promoting it, but also with a very important initial grant that made it possible to go forward with this project. John Guilfoy and his team, Benjamin Paulin and Christine Potter from John Guilfoy Public Relations, they did amazing work. They were brought in fairly late in the game. They got the word out. They did an enormous amount of social media. They helped with our website, but they also fielded hundreds or maybe it was thousands of inquiries from news media really across the globe. It was pretty incredible, the reach of this program. Also on the next slide, I want to mention the Bunker Hill Reenactment Committee. This was all the reenactors. Some of the key reenactment groups were the Lexington Minutemen. I think Steve Cole is captain of the Minutemen. I think he's maybe here today, I hope. The Lexington Training Band was Alice Kane, and I don't think he was able to come. The 2nd Mass Regiment, also I'm told it's called Colonel Bailey's 2nd. Eric Chedwin is here. And the 10th Regiment, I don't think anybody was able to come this morning, but His Majesty's 52nd Regiment of Foot Light Infantry. Doug Ozilius is definitely here. And so please. Oh, and north of Boston, CVB. Nancy, are you here? Oh, great. Come on up. That's terrific. Sorry. You were also key. Please come up, and if you want to say a few words, you're welcome to, and stay afterwards for some photos. And we have certificates for everybody up here, which Sherry's going to try to sort out. Anybody want to say anything? It really was quite an extraordinary event, and really can't thank you enough. I had never been involved in one of these things before. It was a real eye-opener for me, a little stressful on some of the money and all the how to pay for the porta potties and the buses, but it all worked out. And thank you so much. Anybody? Kate? Come on, Kate.
Oh my gosh. And me without any talking points. I want to extend my gratitude and congratulations to everybody who made the reenactment of Bunker Hill in Gloucester a success. It was an amazing and very warm day. And I certainly want to recognize everybody who did it in wool, because I was hot and I was in cotton. We literally were the money. Like, we provided a grant, and thank you for this appreciation. It was an honor to be a part of it, and the Massachusetts Office of Travel and Tourism is committed to continuing to promote and tell the stories of the semi-quincentennial and American Revolution in Massachusetts. It's not over yet. We're going through 2026, so head over to massachusetts250.org, take a look at everything that's still going on, and join us for additional events. Thank you very much to everybody.
Thank you. I think, Jonathan, you coming up? Yeah. Come on, you want to promote?
I didn't get to do my 2 sets at the Copa this past weekend, so this gives me an opportunity. This event, perhaps more than many others, is really the highlight of the 250th in many ways, because it literally is that moment of e pluribus unum when so many came together in one cause, one event, and put it together. And you eloquently put together the responsibilities of so many in this room. The response has been fantastic. I'm still getting emails from people talking about it. It did get national and international coverage, so thanks to JGPR for tracking these things for us and giving us the data analytics. It really is a remarkable point in this 250th season or period to remind ourselves of the power of our history and finding new and interesting, unique ways. And one of the things we didn't talk about, but we were very pleased with, is we did a series of education programs with Gloucester High School, and really got the kids involved because, one of the reasons we chose Gloucester as the site is because of its historical ties to the story. So many of the men who served and sacrificed at Bunker Hill were from Essex County in particular, Essex and Middlesex County. And this is an important reminder that the 250 is not just about things that happen in your town. It's about people from your town who made history happen. Thank you all.
Thank you, Jonathan. Yes, and it was wonderful to work with the work that you did with the high school students. They had a really fantastic time. I would love to call on Doug or Eric or both of you to come up and just talk about, what drives the reenactment community, because it's a lot of work, it's a lot of time, but it really makes you understand history in ways that you don't understand when you're just reading about it.
Thanks, Annie. Well, Jonathan's told you a little bit about how important Bunker Hill is as an event in our history. I want to comment for a moment on the great work of the reenactors. So Annie mentioned we had over 20,000 visitors who came in and shared in that history, shared in that story. We also had nearly 1,000 reenactors and living historians from across the globe come to participate, to play, of course, the good guys, and then Doug's crew. But we were honored to be able to come to Gloucester. As Jonathan mentioned, this is a story that ties to Gloucester, ties to really the whole region, right? This is a Sentinel event. And then obviously partner up with Essex Heritage and all the many groups here, which really brought this event to life. I would be remiss to say that there may be something coming up this summer, so just pointing out that there may be another opportunity for you to come share in this history experience. And with that, I'll turn it over to my loyal compatriot.
Why, thanks, Eric. Yes, and speaking on behalf of the reenactors who portrayed the bad guys, the British Army, we had, again, reenactors from all over the United States, and also some came from the United Kingdom itself. So it was really a group effort. The whole team here, certainly we appreciate them, especially if, we punctured holes and things, and we had to call up Ringo, and he saved the day, of course. But no, I'd like to thank everyone. Everyone did a fantastic job from all levels, all agencies and organizations. It's truly appreciated. Thank you very much.
The British may have been the bad guys, but boy, were they handsome in their kit. Was amazing. I don't know if anybody else. I don't know whether John, you want to talk about the PR. It was really extraordinary, I thought, to see the handling of inquiries in PR around the world, and so intense. It was such an intense period that last week.
Thank you, Annie. I appreciate that. And yeah, the first number, that 20,000, really speaks for itself. But the number that I think really gets people at the end of the day was the number of eyeballs on the international media audience for this event was 152 million. So we had a tremendous turnout. We had European media, we had Hungarian media, we had the European Press Photographers Association, the Associated Press. C-SPAN ran a 2-hour special on the entire battle that you can watch on their website right now. It really showcased the breadth and depth of the work that everyone did and the excitement and interest for living history and for celebrating and commemorating the American Revolution. The living historians and the reenactors had a tremendous audience, both live and on TV, on the internet, via social media, in the newspaper. And the people that came out, I guess where I'll cap my remarks is, the elephant in the room is when this was being planned, there were people saying, why are we doing Bunker Hill in Gloucester? By the time it was over, Ringo was going to love hearing this. The message was, we should do this every year. And yes, we do have something coming up. Surprise, there's going to be an announcement in a couple of weeks about something, I think, permits and everything else pending. So we really had a great time being at Stage 4 Park. Our company put up our 10 by 20 tent. We had half our staff was there for the weekend. It was hot, but it was a tremendous thing to be part of, and we're glad to have been part of it, and we hope you'll have us back. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Nancy, I don't know if you want to say something, because as north of Boston, it was, thank you for your help in getting the word out. You don't have to if you don't want to, but you're welcome.
You all did the heavy lifting. We were just happy
Massachusetts, but gave a beautiful spotlight on a beautiful region. It was a great partnership.
Well, it definitely wasn't my idea, but I was very pleased to be involved with it. And I had no idea how much work it was going to be. And Ringo, I don't know whether you want to say anything or not. I know you usually don't. But and Ringo is Senator Tarr's brother, and I had never met you before. I know your brother very well, but I haven't never met you before until he said, you might talk to my brother. Senator Tarr said, you might talk to my brother. He might be some help. Well, my heavens, I've never seen anybody. Yeah. It was incredible, from everything from helping with find volunteers to bales of hay to you name it. And he went out and found a split rail fence. He knew a guy. Yes, he knew a guy. Anyway, I'm just so pleased to have been dragged into it, be part of it, be involved in it. It was really, really fun. And please do stay around for a few minutes. We'll do some pictures after this. And I'm going to now wind up this meeting and just mention some upcoming events. We have a Heritage Friend event at Spencer Pierce Little Farm in Newbury, a fabulous place. It's November 3rd at 5:30. We have the Essex Heritage Annual Photo Contest. Please enter. The deadline for this is December 19th. We had a record number of photographs last year. Hope we break that record this year. Also, I'm very pleased to announce that our partnership grants will be starting up again right after the first of the year. We were successful getting our federal funds finally this year, and so we were able to do that program again. So look for the announcement sometime in mid-January, and the deadline will be sometime in February. So really pleased that we can do those grants again. And just keep looking at our website and social media, because we're trying to post events all the time. And really, I think with that, we're done, and thank you so much. It's so nice to see everybody this morning.